This video, with commentary, features the new sport format called STUNT. USA Cheer, the national governing body for STUNT, has developed this new and exciting sport created from the athletic skills of traditional competitive cheer and regular cheer. A stunt game will feature 4 quarters of competition. First quarter will be partner stunts, then on to pyramids and tosses in the second quarter. The third quarter will be group jumps and tumbling, in the fourth quarter combination team performance. In each of the first 3 quarters, there are 4 rounds of competition. In each round, teams will perform a pre-choreographed routine head-to-head on the competition floor. The team with possession in each round will determine which routine is performed. The scoring officials, which sit at the front of the floor, will rank the teams at the end of each round based on the execution of the performances. The team with the best execution will be awarded 1 point. The other team will be awarded 0 points. In case of a tie, both teams will be awarded 1 point. The team with the highest point total at the end of the fourth quarter will be declared the winner. My name is Danny Kahn, and this is my lovely wife, Regina. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're just going to kind of go through a game here and explain to you how it all works. It's really, really exciting. And so, first of all, the playing surface there, you'll see they got 9 strips out there. Each team uses 4 strips with a kind of a neutral area in the middle where the referee stands. And on the outside of the teams, there are a couple strips where they can do some like warm-ups and stuff. Normally, there are 2 teams out there on the floor, but Rocklin, in this first round, they forfeited, and we'll explain more about that later. But these 2 teams are Antelope High School in red from the Sacramento area, and Rocklin High School in blue, also from the Sacramento area.
So right now they're performing routine 6 because Rocklin forfeited. Antelope has to prove that they could do the routine in order to gain 2 points to win the round.
So now you'll see this is like a head-to-head, and both teams, they've learned these routines months ago. They've done their best to perfect them. They're going to do the exact same thing to the exact same music, and whoever does it best, the scoring officials will give a nod to, and they'll get the points. Sometimes it's a tie, but more often than not, the scoring officials will decide who is deserving of the point. And this quarter is partner stunts, and whoever had possession, I think it was Rocklin, got to choose this routine. So it's a bit of a strategy, choosing the ones you're best at or the ones maybe you know your opponent is weak at.
So right, you just saw as they finished, the routines are go from skill. So routine 1 is easier than routine 2, and 3 gets harder, 4 all the way up to routine 6. And each quarter has 6 different routines that they can choose from to call. In that particular case, Rocklin had 1, so they got to choose the next round, and in this case they chose routine 3.
But each quarter has an option of 6 different routines, but you only do 4, right?
Correct. So there's that strategy again, going back into what is my strength, what is my opposing team's weakness and strength, and then you're going to try to call accordingly to try to gain the point over the opposing team.
So let's watch the referee in the middle there. Puts both arms out. That means it's a tie, so both teams will be awarded 1 point.
Correct. And then the possession went to Antelope because that prior possession was with Rocklin. So now they're doing routine 5. Again, the skill gets harder. You see there that Rocklin omitted the full up, which means it's considered a major deduction. So the officials are going to take that into account. Again, teams would do that if they didn't feel comfortable with the skill. Again, it's all about the strategy and being as clean as possible. Obviously, a fall is another big major deduction, so you're trying to really make sure you can be as matched as you can, but as safe as you can. And then try to, knowing that about your team, then come back in the following rounds to make up for it. In that case, Antelope would win that round, and then they would continue to have possession. Here we go into the second quarter. Now we're doing pyramids and tosses, and the way each quarter changes is the team with the lowest score has the first possession in that quarter. So in this case, Rocklin would have chosen routine 5. And you're watching, again, there's some mistakes there on Antelope's side. That's going to be some deductions. Again, there's some timing issues. And so again, the officials are just looking for all of those mistakes, and they're just marking them and counting, and whichever team has the least amount of mistakes will win the round.
I think in watching this, I think the Rocklin coach knew that they were better at this particular round.
Absolutely.
It was very smart to call that round, make sure that got in there, so they can get that point.
Right, and then they would keep possession. So now they were going into this round a little behind in score. So now that they're continuing to kind of control the game in a sense, right? As long as you're controlling possession, you could get to call the routines that your team is best at.
Both these teams are so good, though. I think they're the two best teams in Northern California right now.
They definitely have the most experience. They started early on. They probably have played the most games. This would be their 10th game playing this season, for sure the most of any of the California teams. So they're definitely what we would consider more seasoned. That was ended in a tie. So again, each team would get 1 point. So it comes down to, here we are in the third quarter. Pyramids and tosses, routine 4. Again, we're just going to go count for count. And the officials are actually looking at a playbook that tells them what the skill is, when they hit a motion, what motion it's on. And then there's videos that we all, as coaches, get to have to really learn and understand what every count is on, when every down motion, whenever split is. So you're really, really trying to make it as close as possible so that the officials can really see the differences.
How long would you say it takes to get all these routines together with your team?
Antelope, that was another tie. Antelope actually got ready with 4 routines and went ahead and just played after 6 practices. I felt like it was better to get out and play a game than spend a whole lot of time perfecting. And I knew once the kids started playing that their energy and excitement about what all of this would just drive our practices even better. And it really has. They couldn't wait to play more games. Every chance we got, we were trying to schedule more games. We hosted 2 games, or 2 groups of games at our own school. We had a game of 4 schools, or 3 schools come, and then we had another game with 2 schools. So it was really exciting, but the kids have really started to push themselves because now they really understand the game. So
as you're watching this, you're probably being the scoring official for yourself, saying, "Oh, yeah, Rocklin looked better that time," or whatever. And that's what's exciting about it as a spectator, watching and looking kind of with your peripheral vision, because you got to watch both at the same time, and you're really pulling for your team. And even it's weird. It's so much like a regular sport, because when your other team makes a mistake, it makes you cheer. Sort of like when the opposing baseball team has a ground ball go through their legs. You're sad. It's not like you're cheering for that person to make a mistake, but still, it's good for your team. And really understanding that this is a legitimate sport takes some time, but it's very exciting.
You'll see here again, Rocklin forfeits round 6 of the jumps and tumbling. Again, it goes back to the safety of your team, whether they can perform it, whether they're ready. So Antelope had to go out there and prove that they could do those skills. And the trick about forfeit is that if you omit more than 1 or 2 skills, you don't get the score. So really nothing changed in that round. It was just a round. No one gained any score. Antelope had to omit some of the skills. There was a full required, a couple of standing tucks. And so it was a risk that I think I took because I wanted my kids just to have practice at it. And, if we go head-to-head in round 6, then the omitted skills don't matter. You're still looking for a 1-point winner. So whoever omits the least amount of skills then could technically win that round.
One of the things I love about this the most is you can have a team of 20 or 30 on your team, and really only how many need to tumble?
7.
Only 7 of the 20 or 30 even need to be able to do a back handspring. So it's not like you need to get together a full team of 30 that can tumble. You just need, partial, and you don't need that many flyers, and you don't need that many ringers, period. You can just have a team that all contribute.
Yeah, I think that's, for the smaller schools, we played a team this year of 12, and they really were equally matched and just as talented. And then, we have a team of 32, and the kids just get to do less routines. But, even the small teams have the ability to do all of the routines, and even, omit some of the skills that you have to just to get practice. In our early games, we got to only play routines 1 through 4. Just for practice. And I think that everyone, once you play a game, it really gets everyone excited, and the kids get excited about wanting to learn the harder skills, if that's something they want to do. here we are. We're heading into the last round of quarter 3. I think the score was 6-6 at the half. So again, these teams are really equally matched. And I think Antelope gets a little bit ahead here, 9-7. But again, you'll see us going into the fourth quarter, which is kind of the game changer, because the fourth quarter is now worth 3 points, and it's a combination of jumps, tumbling, pyramids, and stunts, and they have to work on a little bit of choreography, getting in and out. And you see that in that round, that was a tie. So going into the fourth quarter, we're 9-7. If Rocklin wins here, they go ahead. But we'll sit back and see what happens in this fourth quarter. There's only 2 rounds in the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter performances are their team performances, so they're much longer because they're actually combining 3 different routines. And so if you look, you can see the Antelope team has kids in the back, because as soon as the first routine is done, they're going to transition quickly on and off the floor to do the next part. So it's just a longer, 3 times as long actually, and the music is 3 times as long. And it'll be worth 3 points if they can, for whoever is able to pull it out and win the round.
I think in the earlier practices, one of the challenges is making sure you get on and off. I think that takes a lot of practice in preparation. You see here, there's a little bit off there. And it kind of, again, the judges have to, or the officials have to go through and just look for all those small differences, simply because when the teams are equally skilled, it makes it definitely more challenging. But, it makes it also simple for the officials, because they have a playbook to go from, and it's kind of black and white. So in this round, it's all of the routines 3. So it's about the middle skill level of the 6 routines. The routine 1s are considered the easiest ones, and the routine 6s are considered the hardest. So in the routine 3s, it's kind of the middle of it, and you can see both teams are pretty good at it.
A couple clarifications in preparing your team for this. There's no choreography involved for you. All that is provided for you along with the music. No music editing needs to be done. It's all ready to go, and it's all very good quality. And so it's just a matter of taking the time to learn it. How long would you say it takes to learn all the routines?
I would say by the time we finished routine 6, we were probably a month in.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, we were practicing probably about 3 days a week, just like a typical sport, sometimes 4 on the days, the weeks of that we had games. But, again, we didn't start till about mid-March, and then a week and a half or so later, we played our first game, and then that kind of just drove us from there. But I would say, after this would be our 9th and 10th game, and the kids were really starting to get into a rhythm.
I think what I love about it most is that we've all thought of cheerleading, of course, as a sport for years. And but this, I have to say, in my personal opinion, I think that this is the closest to really, really honestly being a legitimate sport. These girls, there's a different feel, there's a different attitude. They, even the way they dress, they're not wearing cheerleading uniforms. It's almost a volleyball uniform. And they have an attitude like they want to just get playing time. Because look over there at Antelope's bench. See how many people are not even playing at the time? They want as much playing time as they can get. So they're working hard to get into these routines. And as a coach, to be able to say, sorry, you're not good enough. I mean, haven't we all wanted to do that as cheerleading coaches at some point? But, now it's time to really think of this as a legitimate sport. It's almost like acro, and the way that goes about itself. It's very, very competitive.
And I think the other thing to consider is there's very little expense in this. Considering what the expenses for cheerleading in general, people consider it one of the most expensive activities out there for uniforms alone. I think we spent a total of like $35 on some jerseys. There's some official expenses, when they come. Other than that, there's really no expense. We borrowed some mats from a local all-star gym and let us keep them very nicely, cheergyms.com, until the end of our season, so it really helped us. But last year, we literally just last year we just brought mats to each other's schools so that we can play.
Yeah. Well, I hope that this has helped you guys a little bit. If you have any questions, you can email Regina@cheergyms.com, Danny@cheergyms.com. You can check out the USA Stunt website, and hopefully you guys will get interested in this. It's very, very addictive, and it's very, very exciting. We'll post this on YouTube, so post comments, post questions, and we'll help you out as much as we can. This is right now. This started as a collegiate sport, all-girl collegiate sport, and it's booming in high school right now. And even club cheerleading gyms are starting to get into it slowly. It has nothing to do with sideline cheer. It has nothing to do with all-star cheer, high school competitive cheer. This is stunt, and it is a sport within itself, and it's very, very exciting. I'm Danny Kahn. This is
Regina Kahn.
Good luck.